Hey everybody, it's Astra from Astra's Corner. Quick note, this video will not be age restricted to 18 plus viewers because even though it features heavy topics such as death and the stages of death or the death process, it is an informative video on psychology. This is a video only for educational purposes. I will not be venting or talking about how I've gotten to this acceptance stage of death. Those are separate videos that will be age restricted, and there are already plenty of videos like that, and I'll be discussing some more in the future about that. This video is going to be made available for all audiences except like very young children. So teenagers will be able to watch this video. The reason why is because I feel like this will give a lot of younger people that are suffering, because death is something that we have to face from an extremely early age when our parents tell us about it or when we figure out about it. I feel like this is an extremely helpful video that may relax some anxieties about death or about the transition from being scared of it to becoming like fine with it, because that in itself can be scary. I feel like it can help a lot of people that have anxiety around the subject, because death is viewed in most cultures as a very, very negative thing in general. And because I am a young person, I'm 21, and I have this kind of perspective that a lot of people don't get unless they're terminally ill or they are an older individual in their 50s, 60s, and really, when they're at their end of their lives. They might be healthy relatively to their age, but they're in their 80s. I feel like that gives another layer, another unique layer, to the whole thing. No matter really what happens, the fact of the matter is that this unique perspective is something that I feel that should be shared, and is something that is happening right now. So I will not talk about my personal life, but I want to talk about this. So something my DMs asked me recently, because we were talking about my life, somebody asked me, a girl, she's my age she's 19, she's in college, we're both college aged. She asked, how do you even get to the point, I feel like death is always going to be a scary thing to think about no matter what. And a lot of young people, especially in their 20s, when, they're just going out and they're exploring the world and they're starting their lives, and they have so many things, maybe to look forward to, because the adult world is so new to them. I mean, you got, drinking with friends, you have, job opportunities, and politics is super interesting, everything like that, right? So what I told her, and what I'll tell other people my age, and what I'll tell even younger audiences this, teenagers, for example, I will tell you that I will give this to start. I'll try to make it as relatable as possible so you can understand the bridge of how you can, how one person goes from extremely scared about death, which I used to be, to accepting it and being very happy about the time or perceived time that you have left. So if you think, for the sake of this video, we're going to assign death as a negative thing, because it is the majority belief. It will make this video and my points much more clear if we use this sort of calculus, that death is a negative thing, and going out to a restaurant or a vacation or with a friend, I know those seem unrelated, but I'll get to it, are positive things. We could have philosophical and ethical and moral debates over, what situations, death is a positive thing or a negative thing, or even if it can be classified as such. But for this video, that's the rules that we're going to go with. So I want you all to imagine a positive thing that you're looking forward to. It is Friday at 7 a.m. and you wake up and your parents tell you that you're going to go over to your favorite pizza place at 6 p.m. with your friends. And you love this pizza place. They have amazing mozzarella sticks. And I don't know, there's a football game going on tonight that you and your friend want to watch on on the big screen TV at the diner, right? So there is part of you that a big part of you will wish, as soon as you get that announcement, oh man, I wish it was already here. Like, I wish it was already 6 p.m. And let's say you meet him at 6 p.m. I wish it was 6 p.m. and I could already be there sitting at that table enjoying those mozzarella sticks and watching the game with my friends. But there's also, and you'll understand this, if you go through the day, the actual day, and do all your schoolwork or whatever, and you come home and it's 4 p.m., there's something really satisfying about all of the things that you did leading up to it, and not just getting straight, time traveling to the future and arriving at 6 p.m. right away. There's something really satisfying about, going through all the hours of the day and doing all of the math work and the English work and all your classes, and then coming home and it's 4:30 and you're about to go out. And when you're thinking about this restaurant, it is a point of finality. That's what I'm going to call this. Now, what do I mean by a point of finality? This is not some sort of psychological term that, is officially recognized as far as I understand, but I'm going to be talking about it, and I'm going to call it the point of finality. That's what I'm going to deem it as, just for convenience sake. So, basically, when you're thinking about this restaurant, you're not thinking about after the restaurant. You're thinking about getting to the restaurant and sitting down and having your mozzarella sticks and watching the game with your friends. And the same thing will actually apply if you have a cruise coming up on fall break, and so fall break begins Saturday, Friday night technically, and you're at Monday. You're not thinking past the point of the cruise. You're thinking about the cruise itself, and in your mind, they're always, this is kind of a subconscious feeling. This isn't, and obviously, you could reason on top of it. Like, well, after the cruise, yeah, obviously, there's going to be more to life unless I somehow die on the cruise, which is a very, very, very low probability. Or in this case, you die at the restaurant, which is a very, very, very low probability. There's this sense that there is nothing after it, if that makes sense. You're not thinking about the times afterwards, after the restaurant ends. You're not thinking about when the cruise actually ends. Right? So, when you go through fall break and you do each of the days and you get to the tests and everything on Friday, Thursday and Friday, for example, your finality, your bucket, for example, is becoming full as you get through the days of the week. It's more agonizing because it's more time, but than the 6 p.m. example. But the same thing applies. And when you get to like Thursday or Friday, you're really, really looking forward to it. Like really, really, kind of like at 4 p.m. on that school day that you were going to go to that restaurant, instead of time traveling to 6 p.m. because you have a time traveling machine in the basement. You're really, really, really looking forward to it after you just filled all those things in your bucket. Now I want you to imagine that it's a bad thing and not a good thing, like going out to a restaurant or taking a cruise. I want you to imagine it's actually the opposite, and it is, in this case, death. It could be anything. Let's start off with something more relatable. It is Sunday morning, and you have classes on Monday morning. And for some reason, you don't really like this class on Monday morning that begins. So by Sunday morning and afternoon, the frustration will kind of peak. But your bucket, as you're filling your bucket up, there's also something kind of satisfying, even though the event that's coming up is bad, right? You have that class Monday morning. There's still kind of a subconscious satisfaction because you're getting things done throughout Sunday. Um, and so when Sunday evening comes and that bucket is full, you're kind of satisfied with like how the day went, how the day's gonna end, um, because that bucket is full, and you've had enough time to think, about like Monday and how you're going to approach it, and you know that you just give up. Like Monday is gonna come, so Sunday night you're like, okay, I did what I wanted to today. It was a full day, and that's kind of satisfying. I mean, it was a rest day, and I got this done. And so Monday morning when you're getting up, it's not really that hard. You're just like getting ready for class. When on Sunday morning, 24 hours earlier, it was quite hard for you to kind of cope with that because that bucket was not full. Because there was still some time to be elapsed, and you were focused on the weekend is kind of that finality point. So now I want you to think about something like death. So I'm not gonna use my example, obviously. This is not about me, but I want you to, your doctor told you that you had, because I'm gonna say this, like if you were told you were gonna die in 24 hours, I would say that's probably not enough time to process something that heavy and go through the stages. I think that you would be miserable up until you died, because 24 hours is not enough time. But let's say 30 days. There was a Darman video about a girl that had 30 days left, like a Darman skit or whatever that I watched. That was kind of interesting. So 30 days, right? So you're very, very scared. You're very, very, very scared about it. You're thinking about it a lot. But you are, you're doing it. You're filling your bucket up throughout the 30 days and getting what you want done. And somewhere along the way, you will have looked back on that time period, because your brain knows it's a limited time period, and your brain will say, I'm happy with what you did in this time period. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with what you did in 30 days. And so by day 27 or day 28, you're fine with it, because you've done what you've wanted to do. And every little moment that you have left, you're going to cherish it until that day finally comes. There's also this feeling that when that day or that moment gets really close, that it will never come, sort of. So for example, if you take an hour break at work, like I used to work at Walmart, right? You would have this finality thing, right? The break's gonna kind of last forever, kind of thing. As much as there's a sense that it's gonna come, there's also a sense that it's not gonna come, which is also kind of satisfying. So, if you're 55 minutes into your break out of an hour, you kind of look at that 5 minutes and kind of stretch it out a bit. So like, oh, well, there's a minute, but I still have 4 minutes left. Oh, well, I still have 3 minutes left. Still have 2 minutes left. I mean, I might as well enjoy it. And there's something kind of satisfying about that. Just as there is, probably not a restaurant, because a restaurant is like you kind of leave whenever you need to. I'm trying to think of more like a limited event. Like if you're enjoying a 15-mile walk, right? It can go either way, but you're enjoying a 15-mile walk, and you don't want it to end you don't want it to end. Well, by by 12 miles, you might be kind of dysphoric because it's about to end. But there's also, and you'll gradually get accepting of it as that 12 goes to 15. But there's something really satisfying about enjoying small intervals. Like, oh, well, this I have half a mile. Oh, I have a quarter mile. I have 2/10 of a mile. Oh, I mean, that's still a walk. So, yeah, I'm happy. That applies to death. And that's how people become very accepting of death. Or at least in my experience and from what I can tell. What my perspective, what my kind of um, I don't want to say theory because that's not what a theory means. A theory does not mean speculation. Um, that's what my kind of thinking is about individuals that are in this situation and that are kind of like in my state from what I know is that's basically the entire process is that eventually your brain will just give in and just say, you know what, this is going to happen, right? In any sort of transition in life, that is true. If you have a favorite activity in a summer camp, for example, and it ends at 4 o'clock, your brain at 3:59 will say, all right, it's time, let's transition, right? And you'll do it. It might be a little bit of discomfort, but with that those kind of concepts, with the time interval, the small time interval stretches, the finality bucket, the kind of thinking about how you're going to approach something, and your brain is quite flexible. So if you have 60 days to think about something, then your brain will work with it. But if you have a tenth of the time, 6 days to think about something, your brain will adapt because it's a faster amount of time, but it can still get it done even though it's 10 times less, right? 66? Yeah. So 10 times less. So that's how I kind of explain to people that have not been in this point of their lives, and they may never. For example, if they get hit by a drunk driver, they're not going to go through the stages of death because they got hit by a drunk driver and killed, went into cardiac arrest. So you're not going to have the stages of not everybody goes through it the same way. Some people have atypical manifestations. Some people have their own reasons. Culture obviously goes into it. There's a lot of things. But I think what I'm saying here is going to apply to what many people can kind of relate to. Because while they may not be able to relate to death on their doorstep, or at least their brain perceiving death on their doorstep, they can definitely perceive a fucking pizza man delivering pizza to their doorstep, or you know, a bad thing, you know, a medical bill arriving in the mail. So that's all, and having to pay for it. That's all from Asher's Corner. I hope this gave you some insightful kind of analysis, especially from somebody that's so young, because 21 is by most measures young. That's all. See you. Goodbye.